If I told you how it was before, I doubt you would believe me. But here's how getting jacked made them regret how they did me. Now, when I was younger, I had a very, very, very skinny and frail build. I always had like an ectomorphic type of body type, but I don't really have an appetite. I have a really fast metabolism. So for most of my life, I was predominantly very skinny. Now, being that I'm just about 5'10", but most of my life I was like 5'7", 5'8". I was a late bloomer in high school, a late bloomer in middle school. I didn't have my growth spurt really until like later in life, like 19, 20 years old. Yeah, I'm 24 now, but I didn't have like my growth spurt till like later, really until like my 20s. So I was always like the smallest person in class. I was always the smallest person when I went to college. Being not very tall, that was, a disadvantage in the beginning. That just being compounded with being skinny, it just didn't work. Women were not flocking to me like crazy in the beginning when I was younger. I've always had like a pretty good mouthpiece, pause. But I could always kind of, talk my way into things with a shorty and like, good personality, funny, things like that. But when you're not already like, tall, muscular, things that are just like signs showing to women that like, yeah, these are like the masculine signs that women like, strength, height, things like that. It's tough in the beginning, especially when you're like a teenager, early 20. Women know that we don't have much resources in that period. So like you don't have a lot of money, you're a broke high schooler, you're a broke college kid. Really all you have is like your looks. So in the beginning, it was tough. It was tougher. I didn't have just the looks that maybe some of the other football players might have or the track stars had. So I figured out that I needed to change something. Like I couldn't keep going along the same lines of doing things the same way. And it wasn't until I came across a specific YouTuber, I'll say his name, shout out Hamza. This was probably about 2020, 2021. And he really was just championing how getting jacked, getting fit, making sure that you're in the gym, making sure you're doing some type of fighting style as a man, just getting your body like physically attractive. Not necessarily looks maxing back then, but he always championed the idea of everything starts and flows from your body, especially as a young man. Like your confidence comes from having a good looking body, being fit and muscular. Your confidence comes from being able to, know if you were in like a dangerous situation, some type of fighting style to be able to get your way around it. A lot of times as young men, a lot of times we can be depressed as well too. From getting in the gym, it's such a good relief. I know if you guys work out, and if you don't, you should know this. The gym is one of the best ways to relieve stress, anxiety. When you're working out the correct way, like the proper way, it makes it where you can't think about anything else when you're in the gym. You have to be fully immersed in just lifting that heavy weight that you have. And there's just something that's like, I don't know, it's something that's just like almost godlike about it. Like you really tap into like those deep wells of motivation of things that you didn't even know that you had within yourself. So getting jabbed made them regret how they did me, because whereas before I felt like so much was based upon maybe the value that I could provide to people and like, okay, well, what can I do for this person? My whole life, I've been a very creative individual. So I was a photographer early on. I did a lot of like creative direction. I had like a clothing brand. I was doing like modeling earlier on, like just taking photos really. But I always thought, okay, what type of value can I add to this person? And a lot of that came from an inferiority complex of just not thinking that I was good enough already. So I will say getting in the gym and getting jacked, it made me feel for the first time in my life that I had an inherent value, because, okay, well, I know how to go to the gym and I know how to work out. I've learned how to do these different compound lifts and compound exercises. I'm becoming knowledgeable in the skill set, and I know how to utilize it to quite literally scope my body into exactly who and what I want to be. Like I liken it to the example of a sculptor that takes a big ass stone, a big ass rock, and he just chips at it every day. And he makes something beautiful out of it. We can do the same things with our bodies. And I think a lot of people get that mistaken. It's like missed upon a lot of people of like, a lot of things come from our physical iteration. Now I could go into deeper topics about like different esoteric things and mindset and law of attraction and manifestation and reality transurfing. But I do believe that the basis of who we are, of everything that flows from us, comes from our physical body. So getting jacked really made them regret how they did me, because you know, in the past, people might try to clown me for different things, you know, not being tall or not having the most clout. If you guys don't already follow the channel, welcome. My name is Alton. But living in LA, I'm not gonna lie, I live in Los Angeles in a house with 4 other influencers. And Los Angeles is a very vain city. Now, I'm sure you guys probably have heard that Hollywood is fake and Hollywood is this and that. And I'm here to tell you that a lot of that stuff is very true. Hollywood is very much based upon, okay, like what type of status do you have? What type of clout do you have? And I'll let you guys know, because, you know, I have a couple things like in the back end. I'm a musician, I have this YouTube channel and stuff. But there'll be times that I'll walk into rooms with actual like A-list celebrities. In LA, it's just like, it's so funny, but really celebrities are kind of just everywhere. So you could be at the grocery store. A lot of times, you know, again, being with other influencers, we'll go to different parties and they'll be like, maybe not A-listers, but B-listers. Really popping people on like IG Reels, like TikTokers and stuff will be there. And just from the way that like I walk in the room of how I present myself with confidence, a lot of times I'll be wearing something like, maybe not like this, but like something that might show my arms a little bit, or like something a little bit like a tighter shirt or something, a really good, well-fitting polo. And a lot of times people treat me almost better than the A-listers, the B-listers, influencers, just because of how I carry myself. Like, it's almost like human nature, but when you see somebody who is like fit, when you see somebody who's like really well taken care of, well, a lot of times our first instinct and our first thought thinks that, oh, well, that must translate to every other aspect of their life. Like if this person is fit and he's like walking in all confident and stuff, he's got his head held high, he's not slouching his shoulders, he's not drooping, he's not looking all sad and frail. A lot of people think that correlates with other things of like, okay, well, he's probably successful in his career. He might have some type of business going on. He probably drives a nice car and he probably does something on the side. So a lot of times just by you getting like physically fit, getting jacked, that's your calling card basically. That's your card that you give somebody of like, hey, like I'm actually doing other things. Now, granted, you actually should be doing something behind that as well too. I'm not saying be like super vain or go off of like just only looks. Like it would be good for you guys to start businesses, to do some type of things within the creative space. I always champion people, start a YouTube channel, start a TikTok, start posting on IG Reels, because the creator economy is actually gonna be the next economy in real life. Like it's so crazy. And I think being in LA kind of helps me see it as a different way, but you guys should be doing other things alongside that. But yeah, basically if you're a young man, or if you're anybody, if you're even, you know, a young lady watching this, like get physically fit, get jacked, because they are gonna regret how they did you. Like a lot of times, I don't think that we should come from like a place of anger or a place of trying to get revenge, but use some of those past experience maybe that you went through when you were younger, when you were a kid, when you were in high school, college, etc., when maybe people counted you out because of how you looked. You know, people maybe made fun of you, maybe you were bullied. Use that as fuel for the fire for you to keep pushing forward. Like, again, don't get caught up in, you know, like the bad parts of it, but use it as, yeah, I'm gonna make them regret how they did me. Like, look at me now, like I'm lit, I'm turned up, like my body looks good, I'm living the best version of myself, I'm becoming the best version of myself, I am the best version of myself. And from that, you'll start to notice, I promise you guys, you'll start to notice the world open up for you. So that's it for today's video. Comment down below, what do you guys think about this? Did something like that happen to you in the past? Like, did people kind of treat you a certain way before? Have you changed it already by getting jacked? Are you in the process of it? I want to hear where you guys' progress in the journey is. If you guys liked today's video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and turn on post notifications, because I do post videos like this every single day. I love you guys, and if you guys resonated with this video, check out this video about how getting jacked will give you celebrity status. I'll speak with you very soon. I'll see you tomorrow.